Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your Baltimore Sports Podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be recapping and just talking about the last two games of this Orioles series, specifically the game today, where the Orioles ended up losing this series 2-1 to the Arizona Diamondbacks. They lost the game today 8-5. They lost the game yesterday 4-3. Yesterday they left the bases loaded twice and just couldn't get the big hit. And then today, after a really bad fielding mistake by Weston Wilson where he couldn't catch a running fly ball that brought in 2 runs, and then also Tyler Wells did give up the tie in the 10th inning, and just some pitching problems by Tyler Wells. A Weston Wilson dropped fly ball, and the Orioles lose. And the Orioles lose 8-5. So the offense was okay today. I mean, the offense had 8 total hits today. They got walked 4 times, 8 hits, 4 walks, scored 5 runs. The big problem today with the lineup was the top of the lineup today. Taylor Ward was leading off. He went 0 for 5. Gunnar Henderson went 1 for 5, and Pete Alonso went 0 for 3. Pete Alonso did have 2 walks and score a run, and Gunnar Henderson also did score a run as well. But Taylor Ward leading off going 0 for 5, that is not ideal at all. Your leadoff hitter going 0 for 5 isn't great at all. Taylor Ward obviously has been great this entire season. This specific series against the Diamondbacks, I think he was 1 for 14, so a really, really rough series for Taylor Ward. Obviously, he's been batting second or first all year long. Just not a great series from him. Definitely probably his worst series of the season. Gunnar Henderson had a pretty good series. Pete Alonso did have a pretty good series. But you look at the rest of the lineup besides Ward, Henderson, and Alonso, and you see names like Jonathan Hernandez and Weston Wilson and Sam Huff. And it kind of looks like a spring training lineup a little bit. That's what a lot of people were saying. The reason why the lineup was built like this at the start of the game was because the Arizona Diamondbacks had Eduardo Rodriguez pitching, who is a left-hander. And this is actually the first time all season that the Orioles have faced a left-handed starter. So the lineup looked really different today, and it was having some success early. Like I will say, the Orioles were making good contact and putting balls in play and not striking out, and the balls were in play and they were making great contact, and a lot of balls throughout the game were going to the very edge of the warning track, and a lot of balls were hit hard right to someone in the infield. So they got a little bit unlucky today. Some balls just didn't really carry out. The only home run hit today by the Orioles was Jeremiah Jackson, who we'll talk about him in just a second because he has been beyond incredible. Like this series against the Diamondbacks, he absolutely was insane this entire series. Unfortunately, the Orioles do lose the series 2-1. They fall to 9-9 on the season. They're back to 500. The vibes seemed really, really high after the after the comeback win in Game 1 on Monday, where the Orioles came back down 6 runs. They ended up winning 9-7. The vibes seemed really high there, and then yesterday they were winning 2-0 initially, and then they lost 4-3. And then today, the Orioles were up 1-0 early, and then the Diamondbacks and Orioles were just going back and forth all game. It went into extra innings, tied 5-5, and then Tyler Wells gave up 3 runs in the gave up 3 runs in the 10th inning, and the Orioles ended up losing 8-5. So, very tough game, very tough outing for Tyler Wells. Kyle Bradish had his best start of the year. It wasn't anything great. He went 6 innings, gave up 4 runs, had 4 strikeouts, gave up 8 hits and a walk through 6 innings. At least he got through 6 innings is what I'll say. Gave up 4 runs. I wouldn't really say that he gave up all 4 runs, though. I do think that he got a little bit unlucky with the Weston Wilson situation, which they did rule a hit. But to be completely honest with you, it was initially ruled an error, then ruled back to a hit. I probably would lean more to it being an error. I mean, you play in the MLB, you should be able to catch a running fly ball. I don't care what the optics of left field look like. But Weston Wilson, obviously, he got called up from AAA. And, couldn't catch a fly. I mean, it was a running fly ball. He had to kind of run a good distance for it, but it was in his glove. And if a ball goes in and out of your glove, I mean, you should have to catch it. I'm just going to be real. So Weston Wilson really does screw the Orioles in this game, because if that didn't happen, there was also 2 outs in that inning. So if Weston Wilson caught that ball, there would have been 2 less runs scored by the Diamondbacks, and the Orioles probably would have won this game, and it wouldn't have gone to extras where the Orioles ended up losing. So Weston Wilson, he did get a hit in this game, and he did get on base, and Jeremiah Jackson did bring him home with a home run, but that drop was really rough. Like, it was really, really rough. It lost the Orioles the lead at the time. And sometimes you look at plays that happen earlier in games, and that's something that decides the game, you know? So, really rough for Weston Wilson, obviously. Does make up for a little bit with the hit, but still. And also just Tyler Wells wasn't great. Grant Wolfram gave up a run. Kyle Bradish gave up 4 runs. Technically, really only gave up 2 in my opinion, but that's just me. Because, again, there was 2 outs in the inning. If he caught the ball, the inning would have been over. So, very unfortunate game for the Orioles. Again, they fall to 9-9 on the year. Back to 500. As I just said, the vibes seemed high after the first game of the series. They had this game and yesterday's game in their hands. All they needed to do yesterday was not leave the bases loaded twice, and all they needed to do today was just, make a somewhat routine play in the outfield, and also just, hopefully Tyler Wells does not give up 3 runs in the 10th inning. So, not great, and also the top of the lineup just didn't play good today for the Orioles. So overall, I'm not too upset with this series. It sucks because we know deep down I know that this team had the Diamondbacks on the ropes. Like, they had an incredible Game 1 comeback, and they were getting guys on base throughout this, or they got guys on base yesterday, couldn't bring them home. Today they were getting guys on base. It wasn't really a runners in scoring position problem, but it really was just the top of the lineup not performing. The defense not being great, and then the pitching also not really being amazing either. Like, giving up 8 runs in a game no matter what isn't great. So, very rough game. 9-9 on the year, back to 500, and we're back to 500, and we were just 2 games above 500, and then we're going into a 4-game series against the Cleveland Guardians tomorrow. So tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're traveling to Cleveland, where Craig Abernathy is going to be playing his old team. Craig Abernathy obviously was the bench coach for the Guardians over the past couple of years, so he's going to be back in Cleveland facing off against his old, friend and the manager of the Guardians. So it's going to be an interesting series. Cleveland is a good team. I think Cleveland right now is 10-8, but I think they're losing right now, so they might fall to 10-9. So both teams have a pretty even record. The standings right now in the MLB are very, very close. A lot of teams are either 1 game below 500, 500, or 1 game above 500. So a lot of teams are very close. The Orioles obviously aren't on a bad start. They could be the Houston Astros, who are 7-11 right now, or a team that's 6 wins or 7 wins. But right now the Orioles sitting at 500. If they can because again, the next series is a 4-game series. It's going to be the first 4-game series of the year for the Orioles. And if they can win the series, which would mean that they have to take 3 out of 4, that would be great. If they can take 3 out of 4 against Cleveland on the road, that would be incredible. Obviously, the thing with 4-game series is things can go really bad or really good. You could either lose 3 out of 4, win the series, and that's not great at all, or you could win 3 out of 4 and win the series, or you could just go 2-2 and split it. I just need the Orioles to just not drop below 500, to be honest with you, because every time the Orioles drop below 500, I get PTSD from last season. Last season, the minute the Orioles went below 500, they never recovered. They went below the water, and they started drowning, and they couldn't get back up. So the Orioles have gone below 500 a couple times this year, or really once. They went I think the farthest they were below 500 was 3-5 or so. Or no, they were 3-6. So they were 3 games below 500. Then they swept the White Sox, went back to 6-6, and then now they're 9-9. So very even year so far. I mean, they're literally 9-9 right now. They're the epitome of mid so far. But I do quickly want to talk about someone who has not been mid this season, and that is Jeremiah Jackson, who has been incredible this year. He's currently batting, a 340. He has 4 home runs this season. He was 2 for 5 today with 3 RBIs, including a 2-run homer. He was incredible in today's game. Shout out to Jeremiah Jackson. He has by far, in my opinion, And to be completely honest with you, he might be the most valuable Oriole so far this year. Jeremiah Jackson, Gunnar Henderson, and maybe even like Rico Garcia, Anthony Nunez. Those are like the most valuable Orioles so far this year. Those have been the Orioles that have played the best baseball on offense and hitter wise. It's been Jeremiah Jackson, Gunnar Henderson, and Taylor Ward. And then for pitching wise, it's been three guys out of the bullpen. It's been Anthony Nunez, Rico Garcia, and then I'd probably say Ryan Helsley as well. So no starter really has been like out of this world. Trevor Rogers obviously has had a good year, but yesterday he did lose. He did give up 4 runs yesterday, which was really rough. Had his worst start, one of his worst starts as an Oriole yesterday. So hopefully Trevor can just get it back on track in his next start. Hopefully this is just like a one-off thing for him and he doesn't fall into a hole because he's our ace and we're relying on him a lot. Cobb Radish did get through 6 innings today, which is nice. Hopefully Shane Baz tomorrow can play good. Hopefully Chris Bassett can play good. I'm looking for Baz and Bassett to both get through 6 innings. That would be incredible for the Orioles if they can do that to kind of save this bullpen because we've been having to use our bullpen quite a lot this year, but they've played well. Like I think we statistically have a top 10 bullpen. We have some guys who have been excellent and some guys who have been absolute garbage. Like Tyler Wells has been garbage. Nick Raquette has also been garbage. Yennier Cano's been great. Anthony Nunez has been great. Ryan Helsley's been great. Rico Garcia has been great. Tyler Wells, not great. Nick Raquette, not great. But yeah, so it's tough. Again, I don't want to really talk too much about this because there's not really anything too much to discuss. This game was very back and forth. They had their chances to win. They couldn't pull through. They had their chances to, score more runs yesterday and they couldn't do it. So they just choked. I mean, it's sad. But again, there's still a lot of baseball left this season. We are 18 games through the MLB season. We're going to be a little bit over 20 after this next series against the Guardians. So it would be great, obviously, if the Orioles can take 3 or 4 against Cleveland and just kind of go on a run. Like they've gone on a run a little bit recently, but I would love to kind of, distance ourselves with above games from 500. That would be great. I don't want to fall below 500. That is the worst thing possible. I'd rather just stay even than go below 500. But we'll see what happens in this series against the Guardians starting tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow up on Spotify, make sure to click the link in the bio to check out the Twitter and the Instagram. I post all the time on Twitter. I post my live reactions to Ravens news and Orioles news and live tweet both games for both teams on my Twitter as well. So make sure to give that a follow. Also, for those of y'all who are still here, tomorrow is going to be a very big episode because I'm going to officially be doing I don't know if I'm going to do my final mock draft tomorrow, but I think I'm probably only going to do 2 mock drafts. I'm going to do one the week before, and then I'm going to post another mock draft the morning of the actual draft. So, or like the day before the draft. So we're going to do a mock draft the day before the draft next week, and then I'm going to do a mock draft tomorrow. It's going to be my first mock draft. I wanted to do one like a week out because I didn't want to do one too early. So we're going to do a mock draft tomorrow. But in bigger news, the Baltimore Ravens are going to be revealing their brand new uniforms tomorrow. They're having a big event. I think it's like at 7:30 EST is when it's happening. So we're going to be tuning in tomorrow. Well, I'm going to be... I honestly might record an episode and kind of give my live reaction to the jersey. So I think like at 6:30 or 7:30 or whenever, I might start recording an episode and then I'll like refresh the Ravens Twitter and then give my initial thoughts and reactions to them when they come out, make a video over them, and then obviously post it later tomorrow so y'all can see. So new Ravens uniforms tomorrow alongside we're going to be doing a mock draft as well. More importantly for the Ravens pick, there's been a lot of discussion about the Ravens pick. Also, tomorrow I'm going to be talking about what Eric DeCosta said about the Ravens draft because he had a little pre-draft press conference. I think it's the last one he's going to do before the draft because we got about a week until the draft, which is very exciting. he did a pre-draft presser kind of talking about the draft, mentioned a couple names, mentioned Spencer Fano, mentioned Olave Vega, Ioane, which are two guys who have been commonly mocked to the Ravens. I have 4 guys in mind that I would like the Ravens to draft, with a couple other names that I would like us to get, but I just don't think that they'll be there at 14. I mean, we'll go over it tomorrow. So if you guys want to watch that tomorrow, y'all can. For those of y'all interested in the Ravens, I appreciate all the support. Again, tomorrow we're going to be doing a Ravens uniform reaction plus a mock draft for the Ravens, because haven't really done a lot of Ravens news recently. There hasn't been a lot to go over because free agency's kind of stalled out for them. Draft season is picking up, though, so it's going to be really exciting. I'll see you guys in the next one. You have a great rest of y'all's day. Go O's, go Ravens, and I'll see you later. Peace.